Welcome back to Book Summaries channel. If you've ever wondered what separates the average from the good and the good from the legendary, you're about to find out. Today we are diving into Relentless, From Good to Great to Unstoppable by Tim Grover, the man who trained icons like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant to help them achieve ultimate physical and mental dominance. In the opening chapter, Tim Grover introduces the concept of being relentless by emphasizing that true greatness comes from instinct rather than overthinking. He argues that at the highest level of performance, there is no time to analyze or hesitate. You must simply act based on your preparation. Grover categorizes people into three types: coolers, closers, and cleaners. Coolers are followers who wait for instructions, while closers can perform well but often buckle under immense pressure. Cleaners, however, are the ultimate predators who never stop until the job is done and never let external emotions dictate their performance. To be a cleaner, you must trust your training so deeply that your body reacts before your mind can interfere. Thinking creates doubt, and doubt leads to failure in high-stakes environments. This chapter sets the tone for the book by demanding that the reader stop looking for shortcuts and start embracing the work. True dominance is a result of an internal drive that doesn't require outside motivation or validation. If you have to think about being great, you aren't there yet. Cleaners don't care about the process. They only care about the end result. Grover explains that a cleaner is never satisfied with their current level of success, no matter how many trophies or accolades they have won. While others celebrate their achievements and take time to rest, the cleaner is already looking for the next challenge to conquer. This law is about the relentless pursuit of more, fueled by an internal fire that cannot be extinguished by external comfort. You must be willing to go to dark places mentally and physically to find what you are truly capable of achieving. Pushing yourself harder means ignoring the voice in your head that pleads for you to stop or slow down. It also means ignoring the opinions of friends, family, and peers who think you are working too hard or being obsessive. To the cleaner, enough is a word that doesn't exist in their vocabulary. Success is not a destination, but a continuous cycle of outperforming your previous self. This chapter teaches that elite performance requires a level of self-discipline that most people find uncomfortable or even insane. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable to stay at the top. The drive to improve must come from within, or it will eventually fade. The zone is described not as a magical state of flow, but as a deliberate act of mental exclusion where nothing exists but the task at hand. Grover explains that cleaners have the unique ability to shut out distractions, crowds, personal problems, and even physical pain. When a cleaner enters this state, they become untouchable because their focus is absolute and their intent is singular. Controlling the uncontrollable means managing your own internal reactions to external chaos. You cannot control the weather, the referees, or your opponents, but you can control your own preparation and your emotional response. This level of focus requires a cold, clinical approach to performance where emotions are set aside in favor of execution. Most people allow their environment to dictate their mood, but a cleaner dictates the mood of the environment. In the zone, time seems to slow down, and the path to victory becomes crystal clear. This chapter emphasizes that mental toughness is the ability to maintain this focus even when everything around you is falling apart. It is about being the calm center in the middle of a hurricane. Silence is often the loudest sound in a cleaner's mind when they are performing. This chapter is about self-awareness and embracing your dark side, or the parts of your personality that others might judge. Grover argues that everyone has a dark side, an aggressive, selfish, and competitive nature, and cleaners use it as fuel for their success. Instead of suppressing these traits to fit into social norms, cleaners harness them to gain an edge over their competition. Knowing who you are means being honest about your desires, your fears, and what actually drives you to win. You cannot achieve legendary status by pretending to be someone else or by trying to please everyone. This law encourages the reader to stop apologizing for their ambition and to stop seeking permission to be great. It is about radical authenticity and the confidence that comes from knowing your own strengths and weaknesses. Cleaners don't need a support system to tell them they are good. They already know. They don't look for mentors to give them confidence. They find it in their own track record of results. When you know who you are, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Your results do all the talking for you. Building on the previous chapter, Grover dives deeper into the dark side and how it acts as the secret weapon of the world's most successful people. He argues that the drive to dominate often comes from a place that isn't polite or nice, and trying to civilize that drive only kills your performance. This doesn't mean being a bad person, but it means having a predator's mindset when it comes to your goals. The dark side is where your rawest energy lives, the part of you that refuses to lose and will do whatever is necessary to win. Cleaners acknowledge this part of themselves and give it a constructive outlet through their work or their sport. Most people are afraid of their own intensity, but the relentless embrace it as their most honest self. This internal energy allows you to endure things that would break an average person. It provides a level of resilience that cannot be taught in a classroom or found in a self-help book. By accepting your dark side, you stop wasting energy trying to hide it and start using it to crush your obstacles. It is the part of you that stays awake when everyone else is sleeping. It is the fire that keeps you going when you have every reason to quit. Grover redefines pressure as a privilege and a signal that you are doing something that matters. While most people try to avoid pressure or find ways to reduce it, cleaners actively seek it out because it brings out their best performance. Pressure is the fire that turns coal into diamonds, and cleaners are the diamonds of the human race. This chapter explains that you cannot be relentless if you are constantly looking for the easy path or the safe bet. You must be willing to put the weight of the world on your shoulders and be the one everyone looks to when the game is on the line. Thriving on pressure means having the confidence that you will find a way to succeed, no matter the odds. It is about a lack of fear regarding the consequences of failure, because you are so focused on the necessity of winning. Cleaners don't feel the pressure from the outside. They create more pressure on the inside than anyone else could ever apply. This internal pressure is what keeps them disciplined and focused. If you aren't feeling pressure, you aren't playing a big enough game. The higher you go, the more intense the pressure becomes, and cleaners love every second of it. In times of crisis, most people freeze or react emotionally, but cleaners remain cold and analytical. This chapter explores the ability to stay calm when everything is going wrong and to look for the opportunity hidden within the chaos. While others are worrying about what might happen, the cleaner is focused on what they are going to do next. Success in high-pressure situations comes down to the ability to process information quickly without being clouded by fear. This success button is often right in front of people, but they are too blinded by panic to see it. Cleaners train themselves to be comfortable in chaotic environments so that nothing can surprise them. They have seen it all before because they have prepared for every possible scenario in their minds. This chapter teaches that your emotional stability is your greatest asset in a competitive environment. If you can keep your head while everyone else is losing theirs, you have already won. Panic is a luxury that cleaners cannot afford. They don't react to the situation. They respond to it with a calculated move designed to regain control. Grover argues that truly relentless people don't actually compete with others because they are in a league of their own. Instead of worrying about what the competition is doing, they focus on their own excellence and then systematically dismantle their opponents. Attacking a weakness isn't just about physical flaws. It's about finding the mental or emotional gaps in your competition. Once a cleaner finds a crack in the armor, they don't stop until they have completely broken the opponent. This requires a level of ruthlessness that is common among the world's greatest winners. You must be willing to exploit any advantage you have to ensure your victory. Competition is only for people who aren't sure of their own dominance. When you are the best, you aren't looking at the leaderboard is looking at you. This chapter emphasizes that you must be proactive rather than reactive. Don't wait for your opponent to make a mistake. Force them into one. Excellence is about making your presence so overwhelming that the competition beats themselves before the event even starts. Victory is decided in the mind long before the physical battle begins. Cleaners are characterized by their decisiveness and their willingness to live with the consequences of their actions. This chapter explains that legendary leaders don't ask for consensus or wait for permission. They make a call and move forward. A suggestion is weak and leaves room for doubt, but a decision is final and commands respect. Cleaners trust their gut and their experience above all else. Even if a decision turns out to be wrong, a cleaner doesn't waste time regretting it. They simply make the next decision to fix the problem. This law is about taking full ownership of your life and your results. You cannot be relentless if you are always looking to others to tell you what to do. Indecision is a form of paralysis that kills greatness. The ability to make tough choices in the heat of the moment is what separates the cleaners from everyone else. This chapter encourages the reader to stop being wishy-washy and to start being definitive. Your word must be law in your own life. When you decide, you commit your entire being to that path. There is no plan B, there is only making plan A work. Grover dispels the myth that you have to love every minute of your training or your job to be successful. In fact, he argues that the work is often boring, painful, and exhausting. Cleaners don't do the work because they enjoy it. They do it because they are obsessed with the feeling of winning and being the best. The addiction to results is what fuels the discipline to endure the grueling process. This chapter teaches that passion is overrated, but obsession is required. Passion can fade when things get difficult, but an obsession with being number one keeps you going when you're tired and broken. You must fall in love with the end goal so much that the obstacles become irrelevant. Most people quit because they stop liking the feeling of the work. Cleaners don't care about their feelings, they care about their legacy. This shift in mindset allows you to outwork anyone because your motivation isn't tied to your mood. You show up and perform because that is who you are and what you do. Results are the only metric that matters at the end of the day. If the results aren't there, the work didn't matter. This is one of the most controversial laws in the book, where Grover explains that true dominance often makes you unpopular. Cleaners aren't looking for friends or social approval. They are looking for respect and results. Being liked often requires compromising your standards to make others feel comfortable, but being feared comes from a place of uncompromising excellence. People fear a cleaner because they know the cleaner will never stop and will always demand the best from everyone around them. This fear isn't about being a bully. It's about the intimidation that comes from being truly relentless. When you hold yourself to a legendary standard, you naturally expose the weaknesses in others, which makes them uncomfortable. Cleaners accept this as the price of greatness. You cannot lead people to the mountaintop if you are worried about hurting their feelings on the way up. This chapter encourages you to prioritize your mission over your popularity. Respect is earned through performance, not through being nice. In the long run, people would rather follow a winner they fear than a loser they like. Your legacy isn't built on how many people liked you. It's built on what you achieved. Cleaners have an extremely small inner circle because they have such high standards for loyalty and performance. Grover explains that when you are at the top, many people will try to attach themselves to your success, but very few are willing to do the work to stay there with you. To be relentless, you must protect your environment and ensure that the people around you are adding to your greatness, not draining your energy. If someone in a cleaner's circle fails to meet the standard or betrays their trust, they are cut out immediately and without hesitation. There is no room for almost or I tried in a cleaner's world. This chapter emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself with people who are as committed as you are. Your inner circle should be composed of other high performers who understand the sacrifices required for excellence. Trust is not given. It is earned through consistent results over time. Once that trust is broken, it can almost never be recovered. This level of exclusivity is necessary to maintain your focus and protect your drive. You are the average of the people you spend the most time with, so cleaners make sure that average is legendary. In the final chapter, Grover discusses the cleaner's perspective on failure. To a cleaner, failure is not an end point. It's simply a data point. They don't recognize failure as a permanent state because they will keep pivoting and attacking until they find a way to win. If one path is blocked, they find another. If a door is locked, they kick it down. This relentless adaptability is what makes them unstoppable. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves or making excuses. They take the hit, learn the lesson, and get back to work immediately. This chapter summarizes the relentless philosophy by reminding the reader that the only true failure is stopping. As long as you are still breathing and still pushing, you are still in the game. Greatness is about the ability to endure more failures than anyone else without losing your drive. Cleaners are the last ones standing because they have the highest tolerance for adversity. This final lesson is a call to action to never settle for good and to always strive for the unstoppable status. Being relentless is a lifelong commitment to excellence that never ends. You don't arrive, you just keep going.